into game number 3 and we get a resolution here. Never would we have thought that OMG would be looking this red hot, but for BLG, they have a name to carry on. They want to get themselves into playoffs and fix up what happened in spring where they were 9th, just outside of the line.
And pressure's on, but hopefully they don't drop the ball when it comes to the bans, because there are a lot that you need to take off the board. I would say that Ryze is definitely very strong, but not important. Irelia and Akali and Jace are both are all on the board. However, Jace is the first ban away from BLG.
Yeah, Akali's been slipping through the cracks in this series so far, and there hasn't been any priority towards her whatsoever.
You would imagine Icon would have picked it up at least once.
Yeah, you definitely would. Olaf going to be the final ban there from OMG. 2 jungle bans and the Yuumi, so they're not going to see Shinmo on that once again. Excuse me, it's going to be the Irelia, the final ban, so still a couple of flexes. The Ryze has been first picked 2 times in a row on the blue side. Let's see if OMG do it again.
Don't change nothing, but oh, here we go. Finally, we were highlighting this a little bit earlier, but we didn't actually get to see it throughout either of the 2 games. Now Penguin Sejuani finally comes out of the woodwork.
Yeah, okay. Let's remember, though, ADD played Sejuani top, so I'm not convinced at this point. But Curse has been playing carry matchups so far, so it doesn't seem indicative of him. BLG, however, they can just go back to something like the Ryze. There are flexes to play with, people to see.
I mean, you could have gone the Ryze and also the Sylas. Those 2 are very strong solo laners that you could have got in your first rotation, BLG, but opting away from it.
Now, I don't know if BLG are playing with me. I know that Trundle's been picked
He is.
internationally. Sivir, I do like on Jinjiao once again, though. Sivir just such a strong pick at the moment.
It's just a little bit strange to see the first debut of the Trundle be in a game number 3 BLG against OMG, because it doesn't really fit their playstyle.
It does now.
You'd imagine that it has to go towards Meteor. He's
Look
like,
at him.
all right. He wants to abuse the advantage that Trundle Ultimate has over Sejuani, because if you use it while she still has a passive, you get so much armor and magic resist, and then she loses it later. She can literally go negative if you get the maths right.
It's just interesting because what you've given away here is the fact that the Ryze is there. They didn't want to opt into the Sylas, still keep that Sejuani and Ryze. Now flex potential for Sejuani as a big question mark, but it does mean that for the side of BLG, Nautilus, Sylas, what's the call?
Just going to call it right now. It's definitely not going to be a Sejuani top lane. It's definitely out of the way for Curse. He has never displayed that he likes playing tanks, so...
But to be fair, he's been in the LPL for 2 seconds, you know? Yeah. He's been in it for 2 series, so we never know. It's going to be the Nautilus lockdown at the last moment here for BLG, so they start banning away other supports, and OMG do not want to see ADD on Gangplank again.
No, they don't. I mean, another one is the Galio, which still can be picked up. Very influential in the first game, banned away in the second. So, could potentially be one of those 2 that slips across the crack.
So what does? Because there's a bit of a support pool getting targeted here from BLG, it seems like. There's an AD carry that was prioritized by Crystal. Camille going to be the next ban. Now, Curse played this in his previous series against WE in the top lane.
So, when you take a look at the bans, Jace, Irelia, Camille, the first 3 games that Curse ever played in LPL. So now, what do you pick up? The Riven? That's the number 4.
Well, it depends what you're going into. I don't think he knows at the moment. BLG need to stop
Wait
this.
a second.
They need to stop this.
Wait a second.
Mundo goes into whatever team comp he pleases.
Apparently he does, and apparently ADD just wants to neutralize the lane 100%. Because he doesn't want any of Curse in his face.
I just love the look on Media's face. He's having a gag, you know. He doesn't know what's going on. To be fair, though, you pick Mundo up when you don't know what your top lane is going to be. Now, who destroys Mundo?
Definitely somebody who does percentage true damage, and that's going to be the Fiora. I mean, it just makes sense. I'm not even going to question that one.
If you're going to see... Either way, that matchup, could you imagine if it's Mundo Jungle? We saw Mundo Jungle last split in the LPL.
With Trundle top? That's ridiculous.
No, we didn't see Trundle top, though. Yeah, that's good old days. Them the good old boys.
Man, that is ages ago. I do not want to think about that anymore.
What's your support?
Yeah, obviously, it could potentially be a Morgana. This one isn't so obvious because the Black Shield, while it does stop Nautilus, he can just wait it out and use any of his other CC abilities. So it's going to be primarily for the binding to make sure that you can engage onto BLG.
All right. What do you end it with, you crazy kids? What do you end it with? You put Kuro on Orianna?
Oh, boy.
Sure.
It's a good counter into Ryze, I'll say that much, because you outrange him and you can constantly poke him. But, man, that is just everything out of the window. A Trundle, a Mundo, and an Orianna as well
So
in season 9.
In the same combination. Now, the Trundle's not too surprising because, as my memory serves me, we have seen this already internationally.
In the LEC,
the biggest surprise is, the Mundo top, Orianna mid, of course. Different regions still picking up the Orianna over in the LCS. Power of Evil picked up the Orianna because that is just his champion.
I mean, it's his one specifically, so that one was a comfort matchup. Kuro also plays a little bit.
But I'm surprised to see this comp in the same game. So, Preacher, what the hell does BLG's comp do?
I mean, they just want to run straight at you. They got a bowl, and they got multiple delivery services with the Sivir as well. Of course, there's a Dark Binding to stop them from engaging, but it only stops one person, so you still got 2 more people to run straight at, into the middle of your team.
They have an unstoppable front line. They've got so much damage. The Shockwave is still going to be the key ability that I'm going to look for, but Mundo's going to be throwing cleavers left, right, and center, while then you see the Fiora, the Ryze, the Kai'Sa. Scaling still there, and it just seems like we're set up for late-game team fights where BLG need to get that Shockwave off perfectly.
Yeah, obviously you're looking for late game when you have an Orianna and Sivir, but honestly speaking, I just want to see the early game and laning phase to see the intricacies between all of these matchups. Fiora Mundo, you've also got a Ryze and Orianna. Ryze used to be really bad, but now that your Q has a lot of extra range, you can potentially fight back if there's not a minion wave, and also the bot lane, you just have to check it out.
I think that BLG just want to fight for the most diverse champion pools in the LPL Summer. In spring, people like Gimgoon, who else we got? I think ADD was technically up there with about 14 champions played. Gimgoon there with 15 or 16. He definitely wants to add a couple there early. And picking the Mundo up into Curse, he is going to have a bad time. Let's put it this way. ADD is you. And Curse is Sans, right? We're going full Megalovania with this one in the top lane matchup as we get into game number 3. And seemingly, we have a Mundo versus a Fiora, but we also have the Orianna in the mid lane. Everything is just getting juicy here as we jump up and finish with a Trundle in game 3. And I'm not too surprised they're invading.
Of course. So even though the crowd cheers, we might have to call this.
I have to say, OMG are super late at calling. Let's go.
The announcer's already done it. Can you? They're all holding their breaths.
They're super late. Oh, nice Black Shield. Shinmo not going to get what he wants. We heard BLG start the chant off, but no, not interested anymore. They've had their time.
What?
Really?
LG,
get out of here.
There's always one. No.
Colonel comes up now. We will elaborate on this a little bit as ADD has taken in the Wrestling Mundo to the top lane. Colonel once again siding for the majority of the game with OMG. Better scaling, he says, but he looks at that mid game and he sees what BLG can achieve. I look at the Shockwave and what it can do.
Oh, he got it.
Yeah, he gets Hood, the person who didn't get Black Shielded. That's a good trade-off there for BLG.
And you would like to say that that was Shinmo playing very well, but realistically, it's up to the Morgana to decide who she wants the Black Shield, and it's a 50-50 if both players are lining up in the same direction.
All right, let's take a look at Keystones, though, first, because it is an unsealed Spellbook Mundo. The Trundle's taken press the attack, of course. Phase Rush Orianna. This is an early gank, though. This is what you want to see. Early damage from Rundle is he doesn't have the pillar, but he has the chomp onto Crystal. They don't get anything from the Black Shield. They actually turn for a bit of damage. Meteor shows himself very early on.
And it was smart of him to use the chomp onto Hoodia because there was no way that he was going to get the slowdown onto Crystal. No magic damage except for Shinmo to break the Black Shield and not strong enough at rank number 1. So they're playing as smart as they can, although that gank was not really the best. It's simply that he wanted to walk through the lane because it doesn't really hinder him.
And meanwhile, on the top side, ADD goes for spotting duty onto Penguin, who just cleared out the Krugs. Spotted out as he walks on through as well. Not interested in the Raptors, instead setting himself up for position to get the Orianna mid, but Kuro has played this very safe indeed. And he goes all the way back to his blue buff. Penguin just clearing duty himself.
Very safe lane as well. So you can just press E on yourself, and the damage coming out from an early Ryze and a Sejuani, not enough to even do a decent amount of damage to take you down. So it's going to be a safe lane from Kuro, but I want to talk about the top lane matchup in specific because this Mundo and also this... Okay.
Sorry, keep
All right,
going.
I was about to say that you have two options as a Mundo. You either have a really bad time by trying to fight with the Fiora, or you have a safe time by just queuing every single minion.
You know what really sucks in that matchup? Is when you throw a cleaver, right, infected cleaver, onto the Fiora, and then you repost it, you get the percentage health damage set back.
Oh, that, I mean,
Or the magic damage.
Yeah, I mean, if it hits you in your vital as well, that is the worst possible outcome that can come out of this lane. This is very interesting from both junglers, because you have to see how they're positioned and who backs off first in order to save time.
Penguin's still here.
Yeah, this is just bold.
Meteor has gone to the Raptor camp. Penguin is just playing it cool, while Icon actually has the TP available. Now, it's level 4 versus level 3, and remember, Trundle early has so much damage.
Comes in, though, from
the pillar
behind.
Down. They're going to turn on the Meteor. Remember that Icon will get overload shortly as they jump on Arctic Assault. Flashes there. They commit forward.
Woo!
Permafrost and permadeath here for the first blood.
Meteor comes in because he thinks he's the only jungler around. It was so good of him to take around the Raptors while Penguin was waiting, but the patience ultimately works for OMG. No mana onto Kuro means that all he can do is watch his Trundle die. Couldn't even shield him at the end.
Yeah, that's right. And the jungler dying this early on for a Trundle. I mean, he has to go back, walk all the way to the top side of his jungle, but
and no
nothing
buffs.
is there. No buffs, a big part of it as well. We're taking a quick look at ADD because he is suffering in this lane. He has no biscuits, of course, as you would. But Cosmic Insight there and the ability to push out the wave, as we've already seen. But this is where the interest takes effect.
Level 4 wants to come in here compared to level 3 of Penguin. Mats works out, but no mana onto Kuro. Once again, just means that the flash from Icon for the last Q cannot be blocked away by a shield.
It was the end of the flail as well, so just very well calculated from Penguin. Another reason why we hype up yet another rookie on OMG, and it's around Icon. It's around the stability in this roster and the part that's been playing so well in this series.
Now we just have to see him extend it even further. I mean, he's good with these early ganks. It was questionable to see the pretty much all of his popcorn chickens being taken away by Meteor, but he still managed to come back into it.
But Shinmo's made a roam. You'd think it's Lumal on the Rift right now, as Icon is going to find him pretty quickly. Safe played there from Icon. He probably would have died with the backup coming in.
Yeah, that was the longest Odyssey in history. Pretty much went all the way around mid lane, but now he has to play ward duty because if he wants to go back...
And it's a grand challenge in the top lane. Curse doesn't want to take it. He's scared. It's where everyone else is. Also, Sadism has been popped here from ADD, so he'll be able to heal this right back up.
Yeah, Meteor's coming up as well, so if ADD can hit one cleaver to slow down Curse, this could be very bad for the Fiora.
He's going to spot this out now. Here it comes. He parries it away, but can he get a vital? Can he get out in time? He gets the attack speed. He gets the movement underneath. Torrent ADD. Head pops him for one. Mundo gets killed.
It was a 2v1, but you have to give props to Curse even though he died, because he actually used his W when there was a cone coming up at him. And when the pillar comes up, it actually knocks you up, so the CC made it a stun onto ADD.
The bloody traffic in the way, that's what he's cursing about in this one. So kill goes over to the top side, alleviates pressure, and that's the trade-off from Penguin in the bottom lane. But Curse almost made his way out here.
Look at that. That was pixel perfect to stun up the Mundo, and you can see it in his eyes that he wants to get this. Even walks back for the vital proc, but then ADD with the final E-auto attack.
Macho Man just headbutts in the end, and it's a... Warden's, what's that item called? The Building of Thornmail there, the Bramble Vest, excuse me. So that's going to be picked up very well to get that, but of course for ADD, not going to help with some of the extra damage that's going to come through off those vitals.
Although it is the best first item against the Fiora, because a huge part of her kit is not just the damage from her passive, but also the healing. The Bramble Vest instinctively just removes it whenever she tries to use it against you.
Yep. And getting the kill up in that top lane. The CS is even now as well. So good news story here from ADD. I like the Mundo a little bit more now as Meteor makes his way into the bottom lane. He'll be spotted out, but that doesn't matter because Crystal's being poured out. The cone goes down once again. And Hoodye is going to get a parking fine, but he flashes before he can get the ticket.
Yeah, and just puts it away into his glove compartment while Meteor is sticking around. Got to watch out for this Trundle, because even though he is 0-1, he still had a huge impact on the top side of the map. And you have to say that that lane gank looks so good from him, because that vision was completely denied away, and nobody from OMG knew that he was there. So it wasn't even a counter gank available from Penguin.
OMG making the roam in this early game is getting even faster. It looks like Penguin up towards the blue buff is going to be contested, but they eventually know wiser. They put Icon back to the mid lane. He gets the shove off and should be able to deny 1 or 2 minions from the Orianna after picking up her own blue. So this for BLG is good adaptation to the meta, but OMG, they're right there with them.
You've got to be happy if you're OMG as well, because the Rise usually has a bad time into Kuro. 1 kill up and even CS up as well. There's not a lot to complain about if you're on the side of Icon.
No, it's really not. Actually, CS once again, Preacher is even.
Dead even.
This series has been so fun to cast, so fun to watch, because both BLG and OMG are showing their best sides here. And at the start of the split, that is very rare. So these teams going forward to potentially playoffs for either of them, as they both missed out in spring, is a very good news story.
And honestly, you're just trolling if you take a look at these two teams and you say it's not going to be a pure skill matchup from everybody involved. So every single little bit of action on the map is exciting to watch, to see who can dodge away, who can black shield at the right time, and who can get the tactical CC down at the correct moment.
And because those skills are going to come in handy in the late game, remember, Icon's going to be doing his thing, but in the middle, Kuro, if he gets that shockwave, OMG are going to get obliterated. In the same sense, if Curse can get onto the back line and be a nuisance, then we're going to see exactly the same thing. Speaking of which, he's backing now after getting the wave pushed in. Doesn't have the CS advantage he was accruing earlier in this game. And now that he has Vampiric Scepter, he'll be able to negate some of that Bramble Vest, but not enough with the Bammy Cinder combined that you're saying Curse is feeling as comfortable as he should be.
He's just using the Vampiric Scepter on the wave. So the minions still give you full HP, even if you don't pop your passive. It's going to keep you very healthy into the poke coming out from ADD, because usually when you get ahead against a Fiora's anybody, then you feel empowered to just poke it down. Yeah. So we have to really watch out for how Curse maneuvers around them.
Seeing a non-useless Mundo is great as well, and I say that because expectations going into this game that Mundo would definitely struggle in this lane, but ADD has been pretty good in the laning phase so far, and
that's what we expect.
Curse so far in the WE series did not average over 0 CS as an advantage. As Penguin now comes to the top lane, Grand Challenger's there. He's just going to die. Good help there from the jungler of OMG, and now Penguin gets a kill in response.
It's the story of two junglers. Whoever can pull off the successful ganks first are going to be the people who can get them ahead. Even though there was a Bramble Vest, didn't quite work out, because Curse combined with Penguin is enough damage to take down the Mundo when he's perma-CC'd.
And remember that ADD took Ignite into the top lane. Well, at least he has Ignite now.
Well, no, it's Unsealed Spellbook.
Yeah, but he has Ignite now. So there's no TP available unless he can drop that Summoner spell. And we'll see what BLG do, because ADD planning to use it.
Here we go.
Is he going to back in time?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to go into the top lane. They know that Fiora must have backed off to safety by now.
Okay.
Get the control ward.
Going to get spotted on the ward, though. So that's Rift Herald starting up, doing a little bit damage to Meteor. Of course, I pulled out ADD's Summoner choice because it was a very progressive move here. As OMG, Curse is still going towards the top side. Remember, Penguin did not use the ultimate in that pickoff to ADD.
Yeah, so he still has it available against Meteor. He can go over the wall. Wow. That is bold.
Aggressive, yeah.
I mean, it's smart because he knows that Jin Zhao is coming down from the top wave after they push down, but it is so smart to just keep your eyes on that part of the map at all times.
And look at how this has been spread for OMG. Hoodier's in the mid lane with Icon, Curse still on the top side against the bottom lane of BLG, and Crystal's going to 1v1 ADD. Now, this is not the right move, or maybe it is.
Bramble!
Ultimate available, and yes, Bramble's going to make that very difficult. So I don't like how OMG's done this, but they've done it all the same.
Yeah, it is. It's not really what we used to. Here we go, Meteor.
Maybe they can find the kill off the back of it, because Meteor's not going anywhere. Subjugate who, good sir? He'll heal a little bit as Depth Charge comes on in, but Meteor's still alive. Shockwave gets one, but for Penguin, he flails, he whips, and he sends it up. That's a 1-for-1 as BLG get a kill in response. And OMG moving to the middle, and oh my god, indeed, Curse is ready to pounce.
Grouping is what we were looking for on the side of BLG. As soon as it happened, Kuro's ultimate, even though it hit one person, was the correct person.
ADD finally uses that Ignite in the mid lane as well, to be noted.
Just to drop it.
Crystal! Black Shield, heal. Ooh. Crystal playing very carefully in that mid lane.
Sometimes you're just focusing on your enemy so much you don't see the random Orianna ball just pop out of nowhere and half health you.
That's also true.
That's what happened.
Orianna is very sneaky like that. Look at where Curse is, though. He's going to find ADD, who has the sadism available once again. But you don't want to take that, because Meteor is shortly behind him, so Curse still playing ever so safe in this lane.
And honestly, the best thing for Curse to do right now is just to pick up an Executioner's Calling, because it just helps against the Mundo at all points in the game. And it's sort of like a double counter. If he counters you with the Bramble Vest, you can go Executioners, just deny away his natural healing and also his ultimate. So the fact that Curse hasn't gone that means that he doesn't ever want to be stuck in a 1v1 situation against ADD. He just wants to get the scaling first.
Well, at least at the moment he doesn't, because he's gone down to the bottom side. He's denying the fact that ADD just wants to play with him. You know, Mundo doesn't know what he's doing. He's not the brightest young lad, but meanwhile in the mid lane, Kuro is starting to hit away at this turret, and Icon's starting to get pressured out a little bit, even with Hoodye nearby.
Just a little extra goal for Kuro. So we won't really be expecting the Orianna to come online until the 2-item power spike, in which he starts one-shotting squishies with his ultimate. That is really the key. However, ADD and top...
move to the top side. Penguin's here once again. He flashes on top of him. They want this kill to end. They go in with a killer instinct. And
Wait.
Crystal needs 1, 2.
No.
Penguin, press W.
Oh, no.
Ulties. Oh my lord, that came close. But there's no one here to capitalize off those ulties.
That was 3 turret hits onto Crystal. It popped through his ultimate.
This is aggressive. The spell shield doesn't get the grand challenge. Curse wants to jump on in. Can he get the next proc? He slows him down. Jin Zhao healing, turret, healing. No more. He'll die as well.
I was about to say it was smart from Curse to actually go up in order to deny away the little extra from the Civic Q coming backwards, but the last turret hit, it just had to tick over.
It did, and OMG, however aggressive that was from Curse, which we talked about how much we love to see. The Rift Herald once again traded off. OMG have been very good at trading sides of the map here, or even making responses due to what's happening across the Rift.
They're definitely trying to get whatever advantage they can, even if it is a little bit of a deficit for themselves. But take a look at the inventory. The Herald, we'll talk about that later. Right now, this is a dive that nearly went badly for OMG. Tanking it up from Penguin. Passive finally pops. We're just looking at the HP bars of OMG at this point, because now they switch it over to Crystal. And yeah, they had to use the ulti as well just for the damage.
You had to, because he was going to just walk his way out.
It was just like, oh, do I actually get out of this?
This is the anger of Mundo, because you go up against a champion like this, and when he gets a kill, when he gets fed, it starts to become very frustrating as he just will not die. So ADD does eventually go down, but he's starting to become an unkillable machine with a Sunfire cape picked up. Having said that though, Curse picked up a kill on his way out, and he has a Ravenous Hydra now. So the Fiora still feeling good in what this matchup was supposed to be.
It's really just about the junglers as well, because if no junglers around, Curse is not going to be going up towards ADD and trying to 1v1 him.
Yeah.
It is really just enabled by both Penguin or even Meteor on the other side to make sure that either of those two top laners gets the confidence with the backup needed in order to really take it to the enemy.
More confidence, of course, to Curse here as he just able to push the turret with the Rift Herald.
That took a little while.
Dropped down. Now, this is going to be hard because look at where Meteor is. They want to make this a trade. They want Icon as well. But the only person coming down is ADD, and I don't think he can handle this.
He definitely can't wave clear, not into a Rift Herald, because she still does maximum damage onto the charge. I wouldn't even be surprised if he's having a lot of trouble just with this turret alone.
Well, Herald gets a charge at half health it is. BLG will trade one off, but what else can be achieved as Meteor and Shinmo are moving down here. ADD eventually gets it. And BLG don't make the dive happen, but they're into the mid lane for OMG.
So because OMG know that BLG is going towards the bottom side, they can potentially engage here. But the window has now closed, and once again, Kuro is safe. They're respecting the fact that Orianna, combined between her shield and her ultimate, can disengage every single dive, and they back off.
There's just such a big outplay potential when you look at an Orianna and when you say, look, what is the big thing to watch out for in a composition like BLG? Well, Shockwave is still going to be massive, even with the one item Luden's Echo now picked up. Icon in the middle of a fight, he's going to have a similar impact, although it's going to be drawn out, as we know. Ryze distributes that damage. One item on him with the Blasting Wand as well. At the moment, in this game, what you should be looking for is how our top laners fare going forward. Because at the moment, ADD is still in a very good position, and they're just trying to pick out Curse.
If you take a look at his job as a meatball and say 1-2 with a fully completed Sunfire and magic resist on the way, yeah, he's still doing his job and he's still very comfortable on it. As soon as he gets that, as soon as he gets a Spectre's Cowl as well, it means that he can start tanking up against Icon. It means that Penguin's going to be doing no damage against him either. This Mundo is very happy on his warpath because his goal is simply just to tank everything.
And he was able to pick up some of the gold on the bot side as well, as that was a turret that wasn't traded off until now. OMG in the gold lead still. 1,000 to them. Curse, however, left by himself against 3 members. I don't think he can defend this, but for BLG, they have to be careful that the turn doesn't come with the rest of OMG walking down.
And nobody else is committing because they know if any more people commit, then all of a sudden BLG pull the trigger on another part of the map.
Yeah.
It's so smart from both of these two teams to not get baited, to commit more members than they need to a turret defense. And so far, nobody's being caught because of these smart plays.
And there's nothing that they can lose if they make a mistake as well at the moment. The Dragon's not even up yet. Towards the top side, Icon hasn't been picked off. In fact, he was able to get the push in on the turret in response. Moving into the side lane, and against ADD, he's fine. He doesn't care about the Bramble Vest.
Does not care. Literally does not care.
And ADD definitely cares. That's why he's got a Spectre's Cow.
Yeah, I mean, that Spectre's Cow, it feels bad that you have two uncompleted items, the Spectre's Cow and the Bramble Vest, but against both of these two solo laners, it works out like a charm for ADD.
Ready. He's still picking up some of the CS by himself up in that top side. Waiting for Curse, however, to pick up the Trinity Force, which seems to be the next go-to. And 2-item Fiora, I still feel very confident in his 1v1 matchup. At the moment, they're not putting him against ADD. It's still Icon up there. ADD has the teleport available if he wants to swap lanes, but it doesn't seem to be the case. We're into what looks like the start of an early 1-3-1 where Crystal and Hoodie don't have to force anything, and that's great to see this game because a safe Crystal and Hoodie is always great for OMG.
And it would also be a stronger 1-3-1 for OMG because Curse and Icon can naturally side lane, whereas Kuro cannot. He is very susceptible to all sorts of ganks and CCs if he is left alone, unless he is just turret defending against Icon all the way. So if there were a 1-3-1 initiated by OMG, it could only work in their favor and away from BLG's.
And of course, right now, Kuro, if he does see someone, he wants to see the Rise. So let's see what happens. He can still sit in the mid lane with the rest of the bottom lane, but you're just sending out bindings left, right, and center while OMG clear vision in the river, and Curse has just moved towards the Dragon as well. Look at where BLG are. They know they're getting the Dragon, so they want something for it. They want this mid lane, and they have the shove to do so.
Here we go. We just have to see who gets the priority. So far, the wave priority is BLG, which means that they will always be the first people to move to any objective if they want to clear it and then move off, and OMG will have to play catch-up.
But you have a double TP composition where Kuro has to stay close to the team, so Curse and Icon can join any time, but OMG, from right under the nose of Bilibili Gaming, are going to take this Cloud Dragon.
It's not under the nose. It is planned from BLG because they know for certain that Jinjiao was in bottom trying to clear that wave away for the rest of the team. No ADC means no contest onto the Dragon.
Yeah, he was trying to catch up to the CS lead that's being built up by both AD carries. Of course, Crystal in the lead for the first time, it seems, this game. Mid in the lead here for Icon over Kuro. Top lane pretty even. I mean, Curse is still trying to catch back up, so at this point, the scaling game is there. And the scaling that we talked about, which could come through with the Shockwave, definitely going to come much heavier through Icon, Curse, and Crystal.
And it is all about the grouping up from BLG and the multi-man ball delivery systems, not just relying on Shinmo, but anybody else who can just run in with the Sivir ultimate as well. However, if they do that, it means that they are leaving the side lanes unprotected against Icon and Curse. Admittedly, they do have teleports to come back in, but they are looking so much more comfortable away than with.
And look, to be fair on my comment there, I actually love Sivir. Sivir late game is insane, so all you need to do is get her into the middle of a teamfight comp like this, and Ricochet is going to spread everywhere. Jinjiao is in a good position to do so. Got the Infinity Edge after the Essence Reaver. Winsu's picked up by Crystal, 2-item spike now, and has himself the Executioner's Call.
Yeah, so finally, a nice little counter down onto ADD. Questionable if he's going to be targeting ADD at any point except for the early game, but now we've got to watch out for where they try and get this. Interesting to see that ADD has actually picked up a teleport from his flash from there just so he can join.
I mean,
wow, okay.
It's going to be used. It's a cleanse there. The flash is there with the Shinmo. They find Icon. He flashes away as well. Can he get the Overload Shield? Well, he pops the Wrath's Embrace, but the AoE damage Curse is into the middle of the fight while Meteor is going to be the next target. It's too early for BLG, but I say that until ADD is full health again. Jinjiao runs forward. Shockwave onto one. All they need for the pick. ADD just headbutts Curse. And OMG lose 3.
It was a war of attrition, hysterics. It was just OMG trying to buy time for the rest of their team members to catch up to the 5v5. Guess who wins a war of attrition? Mundo does. Doesn't matter how much damage you put down onto him. If you don't get the executions, even if you do, then he's got to heal up to full HP, and they just completely ran over OMG.
And they're just running at Crystal and Hoodie. They're running at the Baron as well. Hoodie, run for your life.
Get him. Get him.
He needs to get out of there. Shinmo was asking for a hook.
Wait a second.
Now the Baron's
this is risky.
Is it though? There's no TP on Curse and Icon because they're not alive. How long does this Baron stay standing? It's going down quick. Crystal, Hoodya over the wall. They get the stun, they get the lockdown. Auto attacking the Baron. He'll be smudged down. As Icon TP's in there at half health. There's no sadism there for ADD. But look at where Curse is. Icon will get the spread once again. Doesn't hit the Q. They find ADD. Realm Warp into the middle. Here we go. OMG into Meteor. The Killer Instinct as well on the hunt. Sends one to the death first. And OMG get two off the back of BLG's three-man Baron.
Give it to me. Crystal even ults in to join them. The only person who wasn't involved at the end was Curse, but he was playing catch-up to make sure nobody was walking the other way, and OMG just sandwiched BLG, even though BLG got the Baron.
But still for OMG, they need a bigger form of catch-up here because Kuro's back on in, and
here it is.
Hoodya's dead! Shinmo comes on in with the grand challenge, goes golden to negate this, but Penguin into the ultimate. They still get the healing. Penguin doesn't survive, however, as Icon is trying to carry this one back. Curse hitting the turret. He just wants it down, and he finds it as Meteor looking for the chase, but Curse is out of there. This is so back and forth. It's a perfect game number 3.
Oh, ADD wants Crystal.
He's so darn fast. He's popped the ghost. Look at him. He's got the home guard bonus. Crystal is kiting away, and Icon just doesn't want to help him. They say you're dead. Curse, are you going to come in? No. Kuro takes him down, and this is just getting from bloody to bloody.
Man, 2 cleavers missed, third one hit. That's all you need in order to bust down Crystal's HP. And you just have to feel bad if you're that Kaiser, because you're going to be killing yourself if you're trying to hit ADD with his Bramble Vest as well. Hasn't even ranked it up, doesn't even need it. Take a look at how tanky BLG is.
It doesn't matter because the Baron buff is still on them as well. It's on Meteor and Kuro. They're able to push this, and they're pushing this darn fast. OMG, are they going to contest it? Well, they've got a bit of the damage, but ADD is like a wall. Inhibitor turret goes down, and OMG can't get the pick off the backside.
This is what happens when a Sivir composition gets a Baron buff. She just uses W and Q, no wave anymore, and you just get insta-push onto turrets.
OMG going to require something big to stop the momentum now. Inhibitor has been, it's been exposed, but you got a minute 30 left of the Baron buff. We'll see what was attempted here from OMG's flank.
They were trying to get every single player while they were still either trying to back or uncoordinated, but Meteor with the ultimate onto Sejuani to steal so much armor and magic resist ultimately makes sure that his team doesn't lose too much. And you can see the slow revivals to the rest of his team. Teleport coming in from ADD on the side as well. Missed one. Watch, missed second one as well. What about the third? Where's the third, ADD? Got it.
Yeah, Crystal died from there, so I love the old cross the rift just to find the AD carry. ADD is charging people down. And the Mundo pick, I gotta say, paying off dividends here for BLG. The whole composition, it just makes sense as OMG and BLG have split sides of the rift. And OMG need to get back to base because BLG had the advantage and they're looking for the bottom lane with the last 30 seconds of Baron.
At this point, it's just, I can't play League of Legends, so neither can you. Pretty much ADD stopping everybody on OMG from making their way across the team. And this last little vestige of Baron buff, it's even going to be used to its maximum.
But you know what? The shockwave now, it's going to suck because Kuro has 3 items and this Orianna has just been silently doing damage in the backside the whole time. BLG now push forward and OMG running out of options, I said before. This might not be one of them as Curse wants to find a flank.
She can just put a ball down, and if she gets both Crystal and Icon in it, it could very well be GG. So both of those two members on OMG need to watch their positioning.
They've run out of the Baron buff. It's expired. BLG is still here with the wave, but opting to back away. OMG hungry for that pick that they desperately need, but they won't be given. BLG have already walked away. 1k gold lead here at the 27-minute mark, and they picked up the Mountain Dragon. That was Meteor just soloing that one away.
Resources onto BLG from those turrets means that they can go back and get their item power spikes. Let's take a look at this one, Hysterics. Let's actually take a look at the items. Didn't actually want to go for anything more than the Bramble Vest. Doesn't even matter for ADD. It does the work that it needs to. And also Meteor with the Gargoyle Stone Plate. That is going to be one tanky Trundle when he ultimates the Sejuani before her passive falls.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's the same thing we saw at Trundle last time we saw him in the jungle. It's a Cinderhulk build. It's the stand front line. And like we said in Pick and Ban, the front line here for BLG is insane. To get through them, OMG have to be creative. And that's where the Realm Warp comes into play. That's where Curse flank TP with the Grand Challenge comes into play. And Crystal, of course, Killer Instinct, big part of that too. So OMG have to be inventive. BLG need to keep trucking it. Kuro, you know what he wanted there. He just couldn't quite make the shot over. So still farming up here on the Orianna, heading towards item number 4. Kuro the core element that is going to blow OMG wide open.
Yeah, I'm willing to look past it, but one thing that I'm not willing to look past is the one pickup coming out from Kuro, because he's got a whole lot of magic penetration, but besides the Banshee's Veil, there isn't much MR from OMG, so he's not really going to be hitting anybody hard with that except for Icon. I still want to see his ball positioning, because like I said, all you need to do is hit the 2 carries and you pretty much won the team fight, but it does rely on both your ball positioning and their positioning. Also,
good zoning tool, the Orianna around the next Baron. This is going to be difficult. Control Ward put on down, and BLG going to clear out some vision. Look at where ADD is. He has a spell book. He's going to have to burn something to pick up that teleport. Or swap it in as soon as possible. ADD needs to get towards this fight, so he's starting to walk up the river. Baron 20 seconds away, or even less.
And here's the interesting thing, Hysterics. Now that Jinja has picked up his QSS, he can pseudo frontline. What I mean by that is not into Penguin. Not into Penguin, but anybody else. If they hit him with his CC, he's got his own spell shield, and he's also got the QSS. He can tank that up for the rest of his team and re-engage with Jinmo off of that.
He can. We're going to see that fight into play as Baron's been started. This is going down quick. I'm actually not sure OMG can get this.
Well, they're certainly not moving up towards it. It's too late.
It's definitely too late. 3K. What was there? It was faked away. No, it wasn't. Into the backline. Penguin gets there, but Jinjiao secures it. Didn't even see Penguin get into there. Hoodye flashes through. Now for Meteor. He wants to send the traffic cone. He gets the slowdown. Hoodye goes golden. Sends out the chains, but he just dies. Locks down no one. And OMG left in a 4v5.
Here we go. OMG collapsed too late. The Baron's already onto BLG.
Big flash away. Good parking cone again. Now for the front line. The shockwave hits no one. Crystal Killer Instincts. Grand challenge from Curse. Heals everyone. They need to get to ADD. Crystal doesn't have the ulti to follow up, but Icon, big component as OMG is still trucking.
And take a look at Penguin.
Here's a good flank position onto Jinjiao Kuro. They're out of the fight. Now for Shinmo and ADD. They've been caught. They managed to take one to the death with them, but OMG still have the rise, still have the Fiora. Can they keep pushing?
And they're actually posturing despite the fact that once again, the Baron buff goes over to BLG. So while all of this is settling down, you have to say, despite the kills, it's 300 gold onto every single member for the Baron, and now 2 of those Baron buffs going over to BLG is a lot of gold for you to contest. 55k compared to 53k. While it is close, it still does swing towards BLG, and a few members still have the Baron buff available.
Difference is longer death time, and every time this happens for BLG, the Baron buff is going to be used for less and less. But like we said, once again, 3 members with the Baron buff. BLG got the maximum last time. Inhibitor turret, they broke down mid, they broke down the bottom wave, and this time it feels like the base could well and truly be broken for OMG, and BLG could put the finishing touches towards that Nexus. But Curse has just picked up his 3rd item, Spira Shojin Fiora.
Oh boy.
This is the late game scaling we're talking about, so on a nice edge, someone like Icon can turn it around, someone like Curse, and Crystal is starting to output the deeps as well.
Man, Curse is going to have more dashes than when NA wants Dark Dash on the broadcast. But the whole point about OMG is the fact that they can still take these individual picks away with Hoodye. He just needs to land the Black Shield when it's available. But BLG is never going to let him do that because they can just simply 5-man group. Take a look at the ultimates available for BLG. All of them are up, and this is deadly.
Yeah, it is. Penguin trying to find the flank position. His ultimate's up and available as well. No flash available for the Sejuani. In fact, all summoners set for curses have been burnt away. Talking about the majority, of course. No flashes on the side of BLG too, so a pick here could be everything for both teams. And while ADD is sitting down here with 3 items completed, I mentioned before what Curse had completed. He's going to stand right here. He's not looking for a flank. It's a defensive maneuver from OMG as the Baron wave finally crashes in.
Yeah, and he's also just, he was babysitting the wave with Baron buff, but now everybody else is grouped up as well. OMG don't want to defend this. If you don't want to defend the turret, you cannot defend without it.
No, and they cannot defend the inhibitor as well. So BLG picked that one up. They move to the top side. They want to break that as well. And OMG, interesting positioning to try and defend.
All still up to BLG. They are in the lead. They got 2 of these down. They're not even going to wait for the super minions because they're full HP.
They want to try and end. OMG need to make a play shortly. Penguin, what's it going to be? ADD up first. The Baron is just hitting it up, and Crystal gets half health. OMG need to make a play, but Penguin gets pulled in before they can make the decision. He goes golden. Icon with the depth charge, and BLG get the jungler of OMG. This is a crookie mistake as Curse now left in front of the last Nexus turret, and OMG are backing off. They need to save the game as Curse goes in, gets the grand challenge onto GGL. Can he find it? He can't, but eventually he does. I take it all back as Icon's there, splitting the fight as well. OMG, they're only left with 2. It doesn't seem to be enough as Kuro will put the finishing touches onto the Rise. BLG finally solidify themselves, make the return sweep in this series, and look to be on the right path, heading towards the playoff, knocking down OMG.
Put that bow tie on top and tie it up because that is gifted. Oh, that was so well played by BLG at the end over there, especially considering that all throughout the game, while they fell down a little bit early on, they played around the Baron buff. They played to their strengths. And honestly, when Baron is up and OMG get baited to fighting BLG, to contest BLG, that's when the 5-man wombo came out with the Orianna ultimates. Not all of the fights had the Orianna ultimate, mind you, but just the threat of it and the constant presence of ADD in the front line meant that it was too much for OMG to handle.
But man, OMG gave them a run for their money in that series. And what a long series it was. A lot of late game compositions coming together. A lot of the story about OMG and how they could challenge BLG here. Turns out to not be enough, but BLG, another story about them, that they're coming into the split red hot, and some explosive games from them as well.
And let's take a look at the way that they played through the entire series. Even in the game that they lost, they held control for such a huge part of it. So the core of the team is still there. They still do have the mindset of not falling behind early, of playing around their strength in vision play, of playing around the objectives. All they need to do is tighten it up and not make mistakes and not get picked.
Now for BLG, tightening up around the vision, I mean, at the moment, the vision game is so good, as you mentioned, but that was a swinging goal that we didn't really expect. It's happened 2 games in a row. Now for the 3rd. Who thought it would happen again?
Oh man, that is 3 for 3. So I'm quite happy with today. We were expecting these to be really close. We didn't expect them to be absolute swings like they have been. But taking a look at the way they played, you can see the 2 very clear dips. The first one that brings it to neutral is the one where they got the Baron buff. And the second one was obviously around a Baron play once again.
OMG in the firm lead in that game, but unlucky there. You still get hyped about a team like OMG, but I think for me, this still brings back the way that BLG entered 2019 as a new roster, recharged, all that. And now they brought in Shinmo. Shinmo looks great on the roster. Yeah. And BLG is a roster itself where they can play Mundo, Orianna, Trundle, like innovative stuff here from the Korean League.
It definitely does look very good. I mean, it looks like they drafted the composition because all they wanted to do was get the straight 5v5.
Yeah.
But hey, it worked out. When you get the wards early, sure, they dropped a little bit of the advantage over to OMG. But still, they managed to retain most of the core, which is don't feed too much, don't give away too much of your turrets either, to the point where the 5v5 is still very influential.
Yeah, it really was. And I think a lot of those games were just purely about the 5v5s. Yeah. I mean, how they could play the pick composition, or on the other side, how they could play a pure, straight team fight composition. So this, to me, seems like a good point to put BLG and OMG. Similar ranks in the LPL, and I would say that this, for me now, has kind of hyped up both teams.
Yeah, and moving forward for this as well, OMG, they don't promise a lot, but when you take a look at Icon and Crystal, and now we know who Curse is as a player, they will guarantee you that they look very good on stage, and you will always be entertained.
They will, but I'm also glad to see the best out of the series in ADD. I also, like, Kuro had a fantastic game. Meteor was very responsive on the Trundle, so, and while the bottom lane just flat out was a better bottom lane, than the side of OMG.
Yeah, I mean, everything just kind of came together inside of this series for BLG. And ultimately, while they do play this very smart style, they do have a few loose units, especially when they get picked around, when they go through the jungle, especially in the second game. I mean, I'm thinking of that, and that one didn't look too impressive. So if they can get rid of all of those mistakes and play specifically towards the champions and the mechanics of their enemies and respecting them, then I think they would look like a much better team.
I like the way OMG look. I like even better the way BLG look. A 2-1 victory, a long series. However, we got another one for you coming up. IG V5 after this very short break will erupt onto the Rift in Shanghai.